There we go. Everybody's making sure we do actually record. This hiccups lately, but we have a fantastic community that works in teamwork with us. So my name is Sharon Whiteman, and it's my great pleasure and privilege to be on this call every Saturday morning for 15 or more years. Donna Hunter and Gary Knapp. We love doing this week and every one of you. And as we always say, without each of you in the community and those who are brand new, big warm welcome, this wouldn't be the success that it is. And yeah, it's sort of a love fest for Manitech. And I think you'll see why in a minute, because this is really the foundation of our love for Manitech. So I'll just, one thing I want to say, the topic today is about our M5M Foundation. And that's all about social enterprise, social entrepreneurship in the partnership with Manitech. And you'll learn more about that as we go. But I just want to start by saying that social entrepreneurship is when a company commits as part of its purpose and mission to be making a difference, not just commercially for themselves and for the employees, but also making a built-in difference for something around the world. And there's so many important causes around the world that new social and up and coming social entrepreneurship companies are addressing, like clean water and electricity. And for Manitech and Sarah at the M5M Foundation, our mission is at-risk and malnourished children. So from a business perspective, from a company ethics perspective, there's amazing, you just have to search social enterprise or social entrepreneurship if you're new to it. But there is major business experts, saying that if companies in the modern world don't commit to a social enterprise part of their organization, committing strategy malpractice. And it's quite empowering. It's quite it's heart-based. And I gathered a couple quotes here. I just want to read to them directly. There's one that's saying, Angela Admirance quotes, "If you aren't building a social enterprise, I don't know what your business model will be in 5 years." Richard Branson, "If you're not making a difference in other people's lives, you shouldn't be in business. It's quite that simple." And there's one more I just want to find here about social entrepreneurs are not content to just give a fish or teach how to fish. They will not rest until they revolutionized the fishing industry. And now that gave me goosebumps. That's exactly what Manitech's all about. So we're very privileged today to have both Sarah Louthan and Colleen Ryan. And I just want to give you a little bit about their background for you. Some people I can see who are attending live today, and definitely people who listen to the trial would have had the privilege to hear from these amazing women. Now, Sarah Louthan is Executive Director of the M5M Foundation. She leads the efforts that help combat the epidemic of childhood malnutrition. Previously, she held the position of Director of Human Resources at Manitech and was a valued employee over 9 years. She accepted the position of Executive Director in 2015 for the M5M Foundation. Sarah oversees the daily operations as well as coordinates the expansion of the organization's efforts. She has traveled extensively through her career, attending the international mission outreaches and experiencing firsthand the effects of childhood malnutrition. In 2014, she had the privilege of visiting Guatemala with one of our partners, RU for Children, which solidified her passion to help others. Sarah has always had a passion for helping children in need, and her dream has been realized with the M5M Foundation. Now, Colleen Ryan is a registered natural health practitioner, development coach, and social entrepreneur with a 30-year strong, busy, holistic, and integrative health practice. Her clients are blessed by her expertise in multiple modalities, including the innovative fields of kinesiology and real food nutrition. She has served as president on the New Zealand Touch for Health Association, holds numerous dance titles, is the head judge for Rock and Roll Dance New Zealand, and holds oversight the training of 35 fellow judges in New Zealand. Colleen holds an executive director leadership position in Manitech. She's a Giving a Spirit award winner, and she carries the heart of Manitech on her sleeve. She's passionate about inspiring others to lead their best life and to develop their full talents and potential. Colleen says that the M5M experience was a catalyst to allow her to think bigger in life. We have more power in each of us to make a difference than we'd ever thought possible. So Manatech is the very foundation in the heart, or holds the very foundation of the heart with the M5M Foundation and the program with children. And so Sarah, we'll just start. Welcome. Thank you for being here on your Friday afternoon.
Thank you. It's such a great honor to be with you all.
Yeah, likewise. I mean, this is, and I think when I call it a love fest, some people up there might give a little bit of eyeball roll, but I hope that we prove it to you why we're so passionate about this. So, Sarah, tell us how, give us a little more in depth how you came to be so passionate about M5M and then to put your hand up to lead the foundation.
Sure. Well, so I had been with Manatech in their human resources department for about 11 years at the time, and was always so inspired in HR. I did a lot of hiring, and it was wonderful to be able to hire employees and tell them about social entrepreneurship and how we were a company that was different because we cared about those around us. And I was always inspired by the stories with when Sam was telling us stories at town hall meetings and different videos and visits that our executives would get to make to see the kids. We would play those for employees. And it was just a wonderful thing to feel like you were working for a company that definitely stood out among the rest because we were about more than just making money or making profits. And I just loved it. So I was in human resources. I was the head of HR. I was dealing with tons of employee issues and and I felt like the grace was running out for that. And I was feeling like there was more of a purpose that I could serve outside of just being in HR. And while that was still really important, I just wanted to do something a little more hands-on. And so I raised my hand. I knew they were talking about creating a foundation that was a little closer in-house. So that we could be more of a part of it. And there had been such a transition at that time between Manatech and the executive staff. And so I was working for Dr. Rob Sinnott at that time. And I just asked him, I said, I'm not sure if you're open to this, but I would love to give it a chance that I could run this. And I had been to Guatemala like 3 months prior and was able to go on a trip visiting the kids that were getting PhytoBlend at the time. And it had just changed my heart. I'd done a lot of international missions like on my own in previous years, but I had never gone with our company. So to just see the magnitude of difference we were making with our nutrition just firsthand really, really set it all home for me. So I asked Dr. Sinnott and he said, that's funny. Sam said you were the person too. So we did a handoff and transitioned and kind of became pioneers in creating our own foundation. None of us had done it before, but I'm really, really proud of what we've been able to do. And it's a whole team effort. This is not something that I'm doing on my own. This could never be done without our associates and without Manatech, because you guys are the ones that are making this giving happen. So you're the ones that are making a difference. A lot of times people will, give me all these compliments and accolades. And while I appreciate them, I hope that you push that on yourself tenfold, because really, truly, it is your doing. So we are just so grateful and honored that you allow us to steward your gift in this way.
Wow, Sharon. So that's a good point. Maybe explain to our listeners today how that actual giving from the field happens. How's
Sure.
the structure of the financial donation to the M5M Foundation?
Yes. So every product that you sell has a donation then is triggered. So it's not for like MPMs or different promotional materials, but for each product that you sell, there's a donation made on behalf of Manatech. And Manatech then monthly gives to M5M on that basis of sales. And so it's all markets except for China. And we are just it's all products. It doesn't have to be an automatic order. It doesn't have to be over $100. It is literally just any product. So if you are, talking with a client or maybe even someone who is a customer who hasn't signed up as an associate, and you tell them, if you purchase this omega-3, you will be giving a donation to a child that will then trigger them to get nutrition this month. I think that's such a huge point is a lot of people will go into health food stores or even your grocery stores and they will purchase just a regular vitamin, not knowing that it doesn't do anything for anyone else. But like you could purchase that same supplement with much higher quality, really a great science behind it, patented products. I mean, if you hear Dr. Nugent once talk about a product, you're sold. If you get that, then you're also able to nourish a child with that purchase. It's to me, it's just a no-brainer. And I think those quotes that you read at the beginning, I'm definitely going to look those up because that is so true. If you're not doing this as a business, in 5 years, you will be obsolete because people want to know that this is not just a consumer world and a consumer society. People really do want to make a difference and want to do their part in the world. I think, if anything, 2020 has taught us that and brought us together in maybe a deeper way than before.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm having goosebumps head to toe listening to you speak, Sarah.
Oh,
This is such an important topic, and there is a shift in the planet. Some of us have been there for a while, but some people feel forced right now to really think differently,
yeah.
aren't they? And as you're talking, I was reflecting because over 20 years ago, when I first was introduced to Manatech, I had no intention of partnering with a business. But the whole concept, even as a consumer that you just expressed, so there's probably people listening today and in the future that don't have an intention or not looking for a business, but to make that switch of where their consumer spending is having a double bang, really, isn't it? And it's probably more than double,
Yes.
not only really benefiting your own wellness, higher quality
Yeah.
product for your wellness, and you're feeding a child somewhere in the world. Is it for a month or how does that work?
Well, it depends on the donation. So we really like tabulate that about 30 cents US. So I'm not sure what that is in Australia, but about 30 cents US is one meal. And so that's less than, you could buy, I don't know, 12 coffees here with that. So easily, yes, is amazing ability to do that. So we say that if you have a $100 product order, that is 30 servings of nutrition. So it roundabout, if you have even, you kind of just take that down. So if you had a $50 order, that's half a month, different things like that.
Yeah,
That's a US
fantastic.
order. So I'm not sure what that is in Australia, but I feel like it's just amazing to be able to say 100 US allows you to nourish a child for a month.
Uh, that's fantastic. It's such a good initiative. And so, how has the program changed over time? Because I know, well, we'll probably get to COVID and how that's affected you this year. But before we get there, how has the program changed? Like, I know you started in certain ways and you've come across road bumps and you've adapted and expanded and
Yes,
developed
I'm
new
sorry. I'm
partners. Tell
turning
us
you
more
guys
about that.
up because yes, I think what's in. Can you guys hear me?
I can, yeah.
Everyone's freezing.
You're good, just so you know.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
I'm gonna keep
Now,
talking as if you can hear me because I think you can. Um, as far as difference now in the
Sarah, we can't hear you now. Sorry. So you possibly, and Colleen, can you hear me? Okay, so it's not my internet, so it might be Sarah. So you might turn your camera off, Sarah, even though lovely to see your beautiful face. Um, Maybe just turn your camera off and that'll help your internet. So you're still here, Sarah, but your audio is not connected for some reason. So here we go. She's back in.
I might not be able to use my video, but I can at least talk to you guys for a minute
Perfect.
and then I'll figure
You're
out what
loud and
happened.
clear.
Okay.
Okay,
Um,
loud and clear now.
okay. So yes, how it's changed. Well, we were nourishing through two different programs. We were nourishing with our bulk Phyto blend, and in several different countries in the beginning. I think we started out in 6 countries the first year, and then moved up to 11. And then in 2018, we established a partnership with Kids Around the World, and they are a nonprofit in the U.S. who have a program called One Meal, and it consists of rice, lentils, vegetables, and phytoblend. And at that time, we were able to work with them to donate our phytoblend in a packet, and they are nourishing and feeding now. So we can actually say that not only are we giving children phytoblend, but we're also giving them a really healthy meal to go with phytoblend, which is a huge answer because a lot of the organizations we are working with, we're saying we love having this nutrition, but if we don't have a consistent food donation, then we really can't do anything with the nutrition. So now we're able to give the product as a whole. And I just feel like with this partnership, we've been able to go further than before. So we are in this year, we donated in 26 different countries. That is astounding, especially in a year of COVID. We really weren't sure what we were going to be able to do this year. And it's just, it's been amazing. It's been one of the best partnerships because not only are they supplying the food, actual food, they're also helping with shipping. And so that what that means for you is that your donations go further than ever before. So we're able to nourish more children because we're able to give more of the donation to the actual product than we are, to overhead costs. We don't want to do that. So this partnership has just been really a symbiotic relationship between the two of us. It's been really wonderful.
Oh, that's fantastic. And, probably the proof is in the pudding. What kind of reports are you getting back of the benefits for these children who've been so undernourished or malnourished, and then having this implemented into their everyday diet?
It's incredible. So we are getting reports all the time about how their energy level changes pretty dramatically. We've always had teachers and principals of schools tell us that children who, were lethargic and never played at recess within 30 days of having our nutrition were like unstoppable. They just had energy levels that would fit a normal, nourished child. And that's been incredible. I have loved hearing those stories. Recently, we've gone into several new feeding programs, and some of them were giving the nutrition to the homes as well. So it would be something like you get this nutrition at school, but then also, hey, let's help nourish your family. And the parents were actually blown away. They thought that it was voodoo or some kind of weird medicine that they were getting because they couldn't believe that their children were not getting sick. That's one of the other things is by mid-year, most of these kids have stopped going to school because, they're getting sick, they're getting all kinds of flus, colds, different things like that. And this time, they were just really impressed with how much more robust it seemed like they were able to, their immune systems were just were functioning at a higher level. And that's really always encouraging to hear that attendance is up in school because of PhytoBlend. And I think we've learned to partner with organizations that are also doing clean water along with PhytoBlend. And then what I'm really excited about is we've just last week opened up 10 feeding centers in Ecuador. And we're hopefully going to be at 20 feeding centers by mid 2021. That's the goal. Landon and I are going to get on a plane and we are going to go visit. We're just saying that right now. We are ready for the travel restrictions to be over, but we're just hopeful because in this we are partnering not only with a village and a school, but with some clinics there that are going to be able to give us data on actually scientific um, proof that the children are not stunted or malnourished anymore. So we're just super excited about that opportunity to be able to say, hey, let's look at their weight, their height, maybe some vitamin levels prior to receiving this nutrition on a consistent basis. And then let's look at it after. And we'll have some scientific data there to show what's really happening. This is in their bodies, not only just that they're full of more energy, but really we can say, like, this really is doing what we think it's doing.
That's amazing. And that's, it's one thing for us to all know we have our own lived experience of the benefits of adding this nutrition in. And those of us who, I'm hoping that everybody we're talking to directly today has plentiful food. And we add this stuff in and we can notice the difference. So, the dramatic differences you're talking about, some of these kids when they don't actually sometimes have all food. And I know some of the kids that you've come across over the years, Sarah, didn't only eat 3 times a week.
Oh, definitely. We see a lot of children who their only meal or snack, maybe like a mid-afternoon snack. I would say that a lot of them don't get protein unless it's 3 times a week. There are some who, I can't imagine trying to stay focused with my attention ready and being able to learn when I'm hungry, and these children are definitely suffering from that. And I will say this year has been one of the most challenging because not only is food scarcity a problem in these um, countries, these third world countries, but we've had a lot of food scarcity, a lot of people losing their jobs. So even if you imagine the way that it's affected some of our first world countries, take that times 10 as to the effects of what's happening with the people we've partnered with for so long.
Absolutely. It's so important to know this and to, as a consumer or partner with Manatech for income, the incredible difference. And for if it's not for people like you and people like us with this passion, people don't have hope, do they, Sarah?
They don't. I can say that a lot of the organizations we work with, we do partner with other organizations, not just Kids Around the World. They all say that when they're looking for a nonprofit to work with, they just want somebody that's going to come back next year. They said the
Mm,
worst thing that ever happens is when they receive food or nutrition or shoes or clean water for 3 months and then never hear from an organization again. And so it's almost like you've tasted what it would feel like to feel good or nourished, and then you're gone, and you never have that feeling again. So I can just say, like, the need is so great, and we are just so thankful to be able to just partner with people who we can trust that are full of integrity, where we can be a consistent presence in these children's lives. When I think about, like, South Africa and Guatemala, they're the places we've been active in the longest. I've seen those kids year after year. I can watch them grow. It's the same children, they know who we are. We can recognize them even in photos as they're growing up. And I just think that's such an investment in that child's life and makes a huge difference in what they're able to do and accomplish. We know the data that shows us that, when you're an impoverished child, you are at a place of lack of education, there's a lack of nutrition, you have stunted growth. I mean, your future is bleak if that is really the
mm,
world that you're growing up in. But because we're coming in at a young age and we're staying, we're consistently working with these kids, um, they have more of a chance to have a better health 40 years down the road. They have a chance that they can work and make above minimum wage. They have a chance that they could even get a higher education. I mean, it's all of those things make up, just from nutrition,
mm.
what this looks like.
And Sarah, there's a question here about photos. You've got quite a few photos on your web page, don't you?
I
Which is
do. Um,
m5mfoundation.org.
yes. Also follow us on Facebook if you're on Facebook, or Instagram. If you're not signed up for our newsletter, I think that would be a great thing to sign up for, which you can go to m5mfoundation.org and sign up for our monthly newsletter. That's always, a good piece of information. We try to highlight deliveries every month where we're sending food, and even different children's stories, kind of a background of one of the children who are receiving nutrition from us.
Fantastic. I'm sure that's going to be helpful. And I'm on that list, and I enjoy seeing those updates as well. It's really important.
Good.
There was one other question I was going to ask you. It's not coming back right now, so I'll just bring Colleen.
Sure.
Colleen, do you want to put your camera on? And at the end, we'll come back to everybody for some final thoughts. But Colleen, thank you so much. I know, amongst many things, M5M is one of the drivers for you. So tell us about your introduction to Manatech and your why.
Hello, everybody. It's great to be here. Just absolutely loved listening to you there, Sarah, and that update on M5M. So thank you. You're doing such a wonderful job for us all, keeping us all connected. I just want to start with a quote from John F. Kennedy. He said, effort and courage are not enough without passion and purpose. So M5M to me was the link or the catalyst that actually helped me find a bit more passion and purpose in my life, and to, what business do I want to be part of? Where am I going? How can I serve the world? How can I be of gift and value to somewhere and somebody? So my why has sort of changed a bit over the course of time to quite an expansive picture of how I see the world, how I see my place in it. And the world has changed a lot, and we've had a real shake-up call now. And so connecting with something like M5M, and then connecting with the company of Manatech as well, is a great way for the individual person to link into something that can really make a difference in their own lives and that of other people. And I think of M5M as that catalyst, really, because when you think of what a catalyst is facilitates some reaction of some kind, while in itself it remains unchanged. And I think that time, that trip in Mexico, if I can relate to that, because I've been thinking about that during the week as Sharon's asked me to come on today, and taking my mind way back to that time when a lot of us were in Mexico, and a few of us went to one venue and a few of us went to another venue. And the places that I went to with my fellow colleagues of Manatechers, we were there for quite a few hours that day, and had saw the lunch and the photo blend that Sarah talked about, and the cooks adding it to the food and the children eating it. So we heard that story. For most of them, they only had one meal a week if they were lucky. And it was really it was hard for me to comprehend. I knew it existed in my life, but without seeing it with my own eyes, in such a privileged life that we live here in Australia and New Zealand, in a lot of ways, it seems so far removed from reality. But after that afternoon with those children, and we got on the bus to leave, and I still remember that moment, and anyone who's on this call today and was on the same bus that I was on, that we were all, crying, and we had tears running down our eyes. And the reason for that was because we knew we were leaving these children and we would probably never see them again. The reality is we would probably never see these kids again. And we just hoped that they would continue to be looked after, and someone would, partner with them and look after them. And that's what Sarah was talking about. They're able to keep in touch with these children and partner with people who they can trust with integrity to make sure the job is done. And I remember Sinead at the time was trying to take a video of us, or trying to interview us about our experience. I never ever got to see that video. I don't think anyone got to see it because, most of us couldn't talk. We were just so moved and overwhelmed. And, I think about that from time to time. And I think that there's a saying that you can, life has to be lived forward, yeah, but it can only ever be understood when we look backwards sometimes. So as I look back on those moments, as I look back on those experiences, little did I know how defining they might be or would be for my life going ahead, and still are to this point, today. So my why is really to help people discover their unique purpose, their talents, their growth. Just like those children that Sarah was talking about, they've got a chance for their talents and growth in their life. And everyone deserves that. Everyone deserves food. Everyone deserves shelter and love, and to have a right to show their talents in the world, and being part of that. But we have a responsibility, I believe, in our world to do it too. We have a responsibility to show our talents, to express those talents. And I love what you said there, Sharon. That how good companies can be great, and now how can great companies do good? If we're not partnering with companies like this that are actually making social change in the world, then what are we doing? So it's become a real shake-up time for a lot of us now. Our world is shaken up. If these children, they need their life to survive, but it's also hugely linked to our survival as well, because we're all wondering how are we going to have the money to, where we, the security in our own lives, our own health. Everything's changing around the world, so we're all connected and part of this. Yeah,
absolutely. I know as a consumer and a shopper in Australia, I do gravitate towards companies that are demonstrating doing social entrepreneurship and affecting social change around the world in places that aren't quite as lucky as where we live. And there's not enough of them. They should be littering our supermarket and our department store shelves. I think I just went to Canadian terminology there. Sorry, everyone. And so anyway, the other thing I was going to say is that reflected on what Sarah said, is that ability where, charities come in and they help, and then something goes wrong with their funding. And I have a lived experience that might in another area of my life where, in a charity, we're giving a grant, which is one-off and they're not sustainable. And we're able to provide really amazing and life-serving services to these people. And then it's gone, and having to say no, exactly what Sarah just said, having to say we can't do that any longer, we no longer can provide that service, is just heartbreaking. So really our world is better because of charitable work. Our world is more enriched because of people who will donate their time to help those less fortunate, and to bring social entrepreneurship into the partnership with that drive or that mission just makes it sustainable and makes it better for all. And so, we have to be so proud of Manatech for having that initiative, and a long time ago, long before it was common, long before it was popular. And Sarah, if you could just jump back in, my understanding is that these donations to M5M Foundation from Manatech happen before profit. So it's not,
Yes.
If we make a profit this year, we'll throw some money at you. It's every single purchase, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. It is before profit, and it's not something that's based on profit at all. It comes in not, lower times and higher times. So, I have the benefit of having the wonderful opportunity to spend most of my time not raising money, but working with these organizations. And that's just one of the huge benefits of having that consistent funding, like you said.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, it's hard when I've had to say no to patients that needed something, but I couldn't imagine, just be thousandfold be saying no to children and knowing how that's going to impact their families and even the people caring for them. It's just such soulful work, isn't it?
It is. It's so wonderful to also hear from Colleen and those of you who have had the opportunity to see what is being done. It's life changing, like she said. It really does put everything in perspective, and I love that it was a catalyst for change in her own life. I think. Manatech is that for many people. It is a catalyst for change, just even within the business. But if you get a chance to grab a hold of the heart of Manatech, I feel like it just transforms your heart even. And
Mhm.
I think what an awesome way to just grow and develop as a person, even emotionally. And I just see it becomes a family, and it impacts your family. And then we're able to really change families across the world.
Absolutely. And Colleen, for people listening today and into the future, you may not have even thought of this, but how does it feel to you to be, as from a in business partnership with Manatech, to be able to embrace and enhance and spread the word of the social entrepreneurship aspect? How does that impact you in regards to your commitment to Manatech?
Great question. Thank you, Sharon. Well, it gives you a lot of confidence that you really are making a difference. It can seem like it's all too hard. Things are out of my control. It's a government's fault. There's other agendas at play and one thing or another. But to know that there is a system in place and that your efforts are directly going to have an effect on yourself and your own life, your own community, as well as many, many people out there is hugely rewarding and satisfying. Because if you're in business, you want to have confidence. You need confidence to know that you've got the right product, you've got the right people, you've got the right strategy, you've got the right vision, and you've got the right heart. And Manatech ticks all those boxes for us, doesn't it? It's got the wellness, the home-based business, and our social entrepreneurship. So out of those three huge, big trends, we are in an emerging time in our world where people are looking for that confidence in their life, in their business. How can they build a secure future? How can they find that happiness, to look after themselves and their family? And we're seeing a lot of social problems in our own Western environments with the social problems that are playing out at the moment. And that is really a big direct result of people not having enough passion and purpose, people not knowing what they want in their lives, and people not connecting to that heart that Sarah talked about. And I think we're all getting to this point that, what is our lives about? Having a natural enthusiasm for life is much better than being motivated. So in terms of my business, if I can be naturally enthused with it, I don't actually have to be so motivated, because the motivation comes. So if you can connect with something that brings a natural enthusiasm to my life and to my heart and to what I want to do, it's not like work. You've got energy for it. You can do everything you need to do in a day, in a week. And our technology, nutrition technology, definitely helps with that too. But it just ticks a lot of boxes, and it's a vehicle. I see it as a Manatech, our business strategy, as a great vehicle and operation for anyone that can hook into if they're willing to be helped a little bit, and join the family and community that Sarah and you, Sharon, have spoken about. So it's changed a lot for me in my life in terms of I can give back to my own community here in Cambridge and the wider New Zealand area. It's not only for the lovely children over there that we can help in the world, but it's for our own kids. It's for our own communities. If I have more time on my hands, if I have more finance, more availability, I can make myself more available to give back to my community with events and sharing my talents and skills and helping other people find out what their talents and skills are. So it feels like I'm more useful, if that makes sense, in my environment.
Absolutely. I love that natural enthusiasm. That's a real potent distinction that you've just put out there. Driven. So that's everybody's task. Find yourself driven by natural enthusiasm. So, Sarah?
Yes.
Is there anything that's left unsaid in regards to updating us and sharing about the M5M Foundation? And do you have, you mentioned plans for the future in regards to getting some science on the table. Are there new potential connections globally?
Yes, so we've made definitely several different connections this year. We've actually been donating to some COVID relief organizations as well. So we spent a lot of our year trying to help those who were suffering from job loss, even within the US, Canada, some more places that maybe they're not as familiar with malnutrition, but they're suffering from the effects of food scarcity. So that's kind of how we pivoted this year in 2020 to deal with COVID and the challenges that it brought, where we couldn't travel as much. But in the last 2 months, a lot of countries have opened, a lot of borders have opened for us to get shipments across. Last month, we were able to finally get a shipment to the Philippines that they had been waiting on so long that the volunteers actually unloaded the truck in the middle of the night. It had been since July that they were waiting on that donation. So that's a really exciting opportunity for us because we have given Fido Blend in the Philippines, but we haven't been able to do 1 mil until now. So just looking forward to seeing the difference between having that consistent food with the Fido Blend, what that does for others. And then Ecuador, like I said, is a brand new partnership. We're very excited about this being able to get some clinical data. And we're still working with those partners in Africa. We have talked extensively about Australia, and I know that there are some organizations there that are really looking forward to being able to receive PhytoBlend in 2021. So, we're going to start slowly just to make sure that we get with the right partners and they make the right difference. But really just excited about in all of the locations where we have associates who are so passionate about our products, even if it's just a small project, being able to do that. So that will be great.
Sarah, is the list of we serve right now on the m5mfoundation.org website?
It should be. I have several different maps that show kind of where we are, and I'm pretty sure it's been updated, but if it hasn't, I'm happy to send that information along to you or your group as well so that you can actually see the locations.
Well, maybe we can give them some homework. You can pop it on the Facebook page and
Yes.
say, shout out to Australasia. Everybody listening to me today, here it is. And that gives everybody a reason to go and connect with your Facebook page. Your homework, everyone.
Yeah, it looks like there is a map on the website, but there are several countries that we needed to update for 2020. So I'm happy to do that.
Thank you. And so I'm feeling like we've probably covered most important things. What do you feel in your heart left to leave today?
Well, in my heart, I just feel a lot of gratitude. This is a wonderful time of year for us. We're about to celebrate Thanksgiving, and it's going to be different this year. I feel that 2020 has been, for some of us, really overwhelming. It's been kind of a reset, a time where we've had to change our priorities, a time where we've all had to slow down. And I'm trying to look at I'm making lemonade out of some lemons in some ways. But what I've been able to really just be grateful for is the ability that we've had as an organization to, one, make people who were not aware of M5M or Manatech, who may have never run across it in countries where they're not suffering from malnutrition. I would say that has been wonderful and a huge benefit to kind of the giving that we've done this year. We've helped our neighbors. Maybe it's not a person across the world, but it has been a neighbor. And I think that said a lot about, what happens when it all comes home to you. It's not always instinctual how we're going to deal with these challenges, but I feel like we've opened our eyes and we've embraced the challenge and we've moved forward and kept moving forward. And so I feel like our vision has stayed strong. I think that that's so important. And if anything, it's like solidified in our hearts of like what we do really does matter and what we do makes a difference. And we wouldn't want to do anything else, So I just feel the same for you guys. Like, I'm so grateful for all of your hard work. I know that this isn't an easy task sometimes. You get some rejections, you get some no's, but hopefully all of the yeses make it worth it. And I just want you to know from my perspective, there are a lot of children who are counting on you and who, one day would love to say thank you in person. I know they are just in great awe of the fact that someone across the world cares whether they eat or not. And it's just amazing to me that you guys I just don't want you to forget it. I want you to know what a difference you're making. I don't want you to, for once, take for granted the hard work that you're doing. And even though it's benefiting your life and maybe your family's lives, just to know that like there's others across the world that are benefiting from what you do. I think some exciting things that Manatech is doing is really working at the back office to be able to show you, even in a recognition way, like as you reach different levels, like how many children your organization is nourishing. And I love that. I think that that is motivating. If you see that, like, wow, with me moving up one level, I'm nourishing hundreds, 500 more kids. I mean, that's incredible. That matters. And so just different things like that to integrate it more. I just would love that. Would love for you to be able to see that.
Excellent. And something that would be really helpful is to get the visuals on that. So we're really grateful, for some of those past photos where children are really obviously malnourished, and then you just adding nutrition into their diet, and they're like, it's like night and day, the difference. So is that still in the plans to develop some of those?
Yes, yes. I saw someone chat here about Ingrid, and I remember that photo so well. She looked like a completely different child. After just 3 months of phytoblend. That's really our hope with this clinical study in Ecuador. And I know for those that are in South Africa, even those of you who we've talked about like partnerships, even in Australia, it's easy when it's in your backyard to like go and see the kids and then see them the next week and the next week. That's a benefit that I feel like our South African friends have that we don't have. But that's our hope with this clinic because we'll be able to follow them consistently throughout the journey. One of the hardships is working with smaller organizations. They just don't have technologically the ability to take a lot of pictures, or some of them don't have Wi-Fi. Like it's really hard to get great information from them unless we're traveling, and that's been a real hiccup for us the last year, not being able to travel. So that's my hope. I really think with Kids Around the World as a partner, we'll be able to do more of that and show you more of the progress that's being made.
Fantastic, Sarah. And Colleen, what would you like to leave us with today?
Yeah, I think we're moving into a time, we're into more conscious living. Everyone is having to ask themselves the priority, what's the priority of their life? What are we going to do? How are we going to handle all these challenges? And it may seem too overwhelming. However, we can link with Manatech and M5M and do a wonderful opportunity, a wonderful job at reaching so many people. But let's not forget, we're also responsible for our own lives. We're also responsible for how our own day goes, and we can do a lot for our own health and well-being, and that's important too. We need to look after ourselves. We need to be strong in body, mind, and soul so that we can have that clear vision. If we don't have vision or a purpose for something, then we cannot set very good goals, and then we don't have very good plans or no plans at all, and then we're just keeping busy in life with a whole lot of other agendas. But if we can kind of just silently connect to what is it that you want, what's in your heart, how do you want your life to look, and what do you stand for in your life, and really get your own personal brand, if you like, we might call it sometimes, and link with that purpose, then you're likely to make better goals and better plans. And then your day just naturally, you know what you need to do every day naturally, and you have that natural enthusiasm. And never underestimate, the difference you can make in your own life and that of others.
Fantastic, Colleen. Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen who are listening today and into the future, I hope you enjoyed this, are inspired. And I was just reflecting our own family. I had the benefit, I guess, of having a big wake-up call with my health. So we prioritize these nutrients. And as a family of 5, we spend, probably 1,000 to 1,200 a month make sure kids thrive as well. That's 10 to 12 kids we're feeding. It's awesome. And then to mention, because I've committed in partnership with Manatech in a business, that's expanded, I don't know, 1,000-fold. So ladies and
incredible.
gentlemen, you can make a difference. Yeah, it is, isn't it? Thanks, Sarah. So you can do this too. It's super easy for you to make a difference to children around the world, and to make sure you use this message in letting other people know that they can as well. So as we said, next week is, we have no official training on this forum, but there's an official Manatech one, and that went out in the email. And I should remind you, I no longer can let you know via Facebook. They've stopped me from doing that, good old Facebook. So if you're not on the email list to get notifications of the emails, make sure you message me so I can tell you how to do that. So bless you all. Thank you for all you do in regards to M5M Manatech. We appreciate you. And thanks for being here, Colleen and Sarah.
Thank you. It's a pleasure. Good luck, everyone. Thanks, Sarah.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. It's so wonderful to see you all. Thank you.
Yeah, Sarah, thank you so very much. Thanks, everyone. Have a great weekend.
Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.